I have a fairly well-known condition called obsessive compulsive disorder, and this is like clinical OCD. It's not, just people who say, oh, I'm OCD about making these lines straight. OCD is something that is characterized by having either obsessive thoughts or obsessive actions. And what separates someone from being normal and having OCD is when these things, these obsessions, these thoughts, these actions, you don't have control over them. You can't control them, you can't stop them, and it kind of gets worse the more you try to stop it, which is puts people, oh my gosh, there's a deer. See a deer? Or a fox. That was definitely a fox. Anyways, there's a bus. The stereotypical thing you think of when you hear OCD is someone who washes their hands because they're afraid of germs. So they wash their hands constantly, and that certainly does affect some people with OCD. Some people do have, that would be an obsessive action, constantly, repeatedly washing your hands because you're afraid either you're going to get sick or you're afraid of germs. For me, it's not so much obsessive actions as obsessive thoughts. My thoughts are all usually based around guilt. So it's like if I said something wrong, if I did something wrong, and I have this fear of like hurting other people, even though I can, as a rational human being, define my obsessive thoughts as completely irrational, I still cannot get them out of my head. What sucks about living with OCD is that you're aware that you have these irrational thoughts or actions. You're aware that they are irrational, yet you cannot stop them. Because the more you think about trying to stop them, the more you think about them. And the more you try to disprove these thoughts, the more you're able to prove them. And it gets to a very complex thing where, you can't really prove anything in life when you come down to it with absolute certainty. And that's what's so hard, is that no matter how many times I think about it, no matter how many times people reassure me that these thoughts are irrational and have very little basis in reality, they could have some basis in reality, but what my mind does is blow them completely out of proportion to the point where it's debilitating, where I cannot function, where I feel so much, in my case, guilt or fear, that I cannot get out of bed sometimes, that I can't focus on work, that I can't socialize. And this is the type of OCD that is clinical, that is diagnosable, that is treatable, and that is real. And when I was diagnosed, I was in a pretty bad spot. And that's kind of what led me to seek help and talk to a doctor and get diagnosed, was because my obsessive thoughts were so debilitating that I just could not function anymore. And there was a period of time in my life when I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I was physically drained because of that. And so I could not get out of bed, I could not go walk to the grocery store, I definitely could not exercise. So there was a few weeks of my life where I kind of hibernated, in a sense. it got to the point where that was obviously not sustainable, and that's when I sought help. The road to my recovery was a long one, certainly. It was a combination of, talking to professionals, psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists. I have medication that I've taken that has, I think, helped me. I've tried lifestyle changes. One of the things with OCD is that an idle mind doesn't do any good. To avoid having this idle mind, I definitely tried to keep busy, doing creative work, getting jobs, but probably what was most valuable in my recovery thus far is my family, my girlfriend, my friends have all been there, and they've given me a tremendous amount of support, and that's really what I think got me better. Now there's never an antidote to things like this. You're never gonna just take a pill and your OCD is gonna be cured. I've been dealing with this all my life, but I've had debilitating OCD for the past 3 years. And so I'm definitely miles from where I started, but that's not to say that I don't still have a really far ways to go. I still have obsessive thoughts. The difference now is I have coping mechanisms. Talking to people helps me. I do have a very strong support net that can help me kind of walk me back and bring me back down to earth, so to say, you know what, it's okay. You're not crazy. This is an obsessive thought. And once I realize that, once I identify it, usually I'm able to kind of let that thought just float away. It's not going to ever be gone forever. I'm never going to be cured of OCD, but I'm learning how to deal with it, and one day I think I can be back in a spot where I can function like a normal human being and not have these anxiety attacks that distract me from my life. But anyways, I think that, I'm no expert. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I do know that life is hard. Having OCD or any type of anxiety related disorder sucks. But it's not the end. You can get better. And so I would encourage anyone who feels like maybe they understand where I'm coming from, or maybe have felt the same things that I have. Please try. It's going to be really hard to try to make an effort to go talk to people when you feel so down, but it's one of those things you just have to kind of hold your breath and just go for it, and seek help. Seek the people who you trust. Seek medical professionals, and just find someone who has an open ear and who's able to talk about it with you, because even if they don't know how to solve, and trust me, most of them aren't gonna be able to solve your issues. Just getting things off your chest and explaining how you feel to people can be very, very helpful. So I was on a serious roll here, and then my camera died. I hope this helped in some way. This is not like what I normally do. I don't normally just skateboard out into the middle of metro parking lot in the middle of the night to talk to a camera, but you know, maybe somebody can be helped by that, and if so, I hope you are helped, and please do keep on keeping on, and get help, and stay strong. Anyways, that's pretty much all I had to say. So I don't know if I'm going to be one of those YouTubers, if I may call myself that, that has like you know, a fancy like you know, like a fancy send-off or anything like that. Slogan, catchphrase. I'm not going to have any of these fancy catchphrases. Why try to be catchy and trendy when you can just talk for 20 seconds as your outro with, you know, the video links? Anyways. Yep.